Hello, my name is Suzanne Roberts and I am a Welfare Rights Advisor at the Carers Hub. It's Carers Rights Week and this video is all about benefits that you may be able to claim as a carer. The benefits that you can claim will all depend on your age and circumstances. So the first benefit that people think of when it comes to caring for someone is carers allowance. Carers allowance is £66.15 per week and it is a benefit for carers, as the name suggests. However, not every carer can or would choose to claim carers allowance, and I'm going to explain why. The criteria for carers allowance is that you must be regularly spending at least 35 hours per week caring for a person, and that person must get what we call a qualifying benefit. So these include the middle or higher rate of the care component of disability living allowance, the daily living component of personal independence payment, or attendance allowance at either rate. And you must be 16 or over. But you must also not be in full-time education, and if you work, you must not earn more than £123 per week. You can only get one lot of carers allowance, so if you are caring for more than one person, you will only be able to claim carers allowance for one of them. And if a person has more than one carer, only one person would be able to claim the carers allowance for looking after that person. The other rule is that you can only claim carers allowance if you are not getting certain other types of income or benefits. One of these is state pension. Private and occupational pensions do not affect carers allowance. So if you meet all the criteria already discussed, there is one last thing to consider. If you claim carers allowance and you are looking after somebody who claims a severe disability premium, that person could lose that premium if you claim carers allowance for looking after them. What this means is if they are getting a means-tested benefit like pension credits, income-related employment and support allowance or income support, and they live on their own, then their money could reduce if you claim carers allowance for looking after them. So my advice would always be get some professional advice before claiming carers allowance, as it could affect the person's income that you are caring for. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is disability benefits. Disability benefits are not means tested. They are given to take into account that you have extra costs associated with your day-to-day life because you have a disability or long-term health condition. It doesn't matter what other income or savings you have, these do not affect your entitlement to disability benefits. And in some cases, claiming disability benefits can lead to an entitlement to other benefits. So, is the person that you care for getting the disability benefits that they are entitled to? But do you as a carer have any long-term health conditions or disabilities yourself that mean you could be claiming disability benefits too? There are 3 different types of disability benefits, and the one that you would claim would depend on your age. So for under 16s, the disability benefit to claim is disability living allowance. For people of working age, so 16 to pensionable age, the disability benefit would be personal independence payment. And for people of pensionable age making a new claim, it would be attendance allowance. And the reason that I say making a new claim is because if you are getting disability living allowance or personal independence payment before you reach pensionable age, then there is a good chance you will be better off staying on that benefit. You do not have to move over to attendance allowance. So now I'm going to talk about means-tested benefits. The purpose of means-tested benefits is they are for people or families who have a low income and they top your income up to give you a reasonable standard of living. Means-tested benefits take into account what other income you have and if you have savings. I'm talking about benefits like income support, income-related employment and support allowance, income-related job seekers allowance, housing benefit, working tax credit, child tax credit and pension credits. You can now not make a new claim for the first 6 of those benefits mentioned because these benefits have been replaced by a new benefit called universal credit. So that was income support, housing benefit, income-related employment and support allowance, income-related job seekers allowance, working and child tax credits. So if you are a person of working age and you are in a couple and one of you is still working age, you cannot now make a new claim for one of those benefits. You would claim universal credit instead. Formerly, if you were a carer claiming carers allowance, you could claim income support to top your income up. Now you would need to claim universal credit. In deciding how much universal credit you should get, The DWP will work out how much you need to live on each month, and that figure will depend on your circumstances. If you're a carer, you should get an extra amount, and this is called a carer's amount. You are entitled to this if you meet the conditions for carer's allowance, even if you do not claim carer's allowance, for example, because you earn too much money. Other important things to note about universal credit are: it is paid calendar monthly in arrears, you have to claim it online, and it is paid to one person in the family. It's important to note that if you have a change in circumstances and you need to claim one of the benefits that has been replaced by universal credit, once you make that claim, if you additionally get other benefits that have been replaced by universal credit, those benefits will stop and your benefits will come as one payment of universal credit. So for example, if you're a carer and you wanted to claim income support, you would now claim universal credit. However, if you were also getting tax credits and housing benefit at that time, those benefits would stop and all of your benefits would come as one monthly payment of universal credit. So again, we would always advise you to get some professional advice before making any changes. If you are getting any of the benefits that have been replaced by universal credit and you do not have any changes in your circumstances, at some point in the future you will be asked to move over to universal credit. So we have talked about means tested benefits for people of working age, but if you are a single person of pensionable age or you are in a couple and both of you have reached pensionable age, then the means tested benefits that you may be able to claim are pension credits or housing benefit. For pension credits, it's the same principle. The pension service will assess how much money you need to live on a week, and if your income falls below that amount, they will top it up with pension credits to bring you to a reasonable amount to live on each week. When assessing pension credits, savings are taken into account if you have over £10,000. When the pension service works out how much you need to live on, this figure will be higher if you are a carer for someone who gets particular disability benefits, and this is called a carer's premium. So as I said before, if you are of pensionable age, you may not be able to get carer's allowance because you're getting state pension. However, if you're entitled to guaranteed pension credits, then you can get some extra money through getting the carer's premium. I'm now going to talk about benefits that help with housing costs. If you rent your property and you are of working age, then you would be claiming universal credit to help with your rent. If you're of pensionable age, then you may be able to claim housing benefit. Both of these benefits are means tested and take into account any other income or savings that you may have. If you have a mortgage that you are paying, you used to be able to get a benefit that would help with paying interest on your mortgage payments. However, this has now been replaced with a loan. There are a few discounts and disregards that may help you with your council tax payments. The first one being Council Tax Reduction Scheme. This is a means tested benefit and it is for people on low incomes with not too much in savings. Each local authority has their own scheme, so there are different rules depending on where you live. However, if you are in receipt of guaranteed pension credit, then you should be entitled to help with your council tax. You need to contact your local council to find out how to claim. There is also the Council Tax Discount Scheme. This is where you receive a 25% discount on your council tax if there are fewer than 2 people living in your property. Several groups of people are disregarded for council tax purposes. So if there is more than one person living in your property, but one or more of those people can be disregarded, you may still be able to get the discount. And I'm going to tell you about 2 of those disregards. The first one is the carer's disregard. And in some circumstances, carers can be disregarded for council tax purposes. To meet the criteria for this disregard, you have to be a carer who is caring for at least 35 hours per week. You have to live in the same house as the person that you're caring for, and the person that you're caring for cannot be your partner or a child that is under 18. So the main groups of people that we find meet the criteria for the carer's disregard is where a parent is living with an adult son or daughter. But this is only going to be beneficial if there are only 2 of you living in the property or the other people living in the property are disregarded also. The second disregard that we're going to speak about is if anyone in your property is considered to have a severe mental impairment. then they can also be disregarded for council tax purposes. You have to show that the person has a severe impairment of intelligence or social functioning that appears to be permanent, and for this you have to show medical evidence and they have to be getting a particular disability benefit. You can also get a reduction in your council tax through the disability reduction scheme. This is where you have a person living in your property who has a permanent and substantial disability and they meet one of 3 criteria. So it can either be where they need and they have extra room for a wheelchair to be used indoors in the property, or the person needs an extra kitchen or a bathroom in the property, or they need an extra room that is predominantly for their use. The way that this discount works is that you would be charged a lower band for your council tax, and the way that this is usually assessed is that you would receive a visit from the council. So that brings us to the end of the video. So if you have a change in circumstances or you are thinking of claiming a new benefit, we would always advise you to try and get some professional advice first. As we have seen, claiming a new benefit can affect your other income, or it could even affect the income of the person that you are caring for.